And then yeah, so it's got 2 more songs, and then we'll be doing our talk break. So
Sweet.
I'll turn the music down so we don't get kicked off of Facebook, which is fun. Like, I love how they like put a claim on our videos, and we always win the appeal because like we have a license to it's dumb. It's like it's a fun little game we get to play
Right.
every week. And, yeah, how are you doing? I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. Like I feel like the
Yeah.
last time I saw you was on Zoom, and I don't think I've seen you in person since. But as
I think I saw you at the Turf Club.
that's right,
Was
that's
you
right.
working there?
Yeah, I was working there.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, that feels
Yeah.
like ages ago though. Was that like?
That was December.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
insane. It's like it's whole years have happened in like
Right.
months. And like
Yep.
that was a good show. That was a good show. I'm
Yeah, it
looking
was.
forward to
It was
tonight.
fun.
I am logistically challenged. Like, I got to go to work after this, and then after that, I got to go teach lessons, and then I got to go
And then the show.
so it's gonna be, it'll be what it'll be. Um, but so a few things other than like promoting the show, like I don't want to be too shamelessly self-promoting, but like it is a special occasion.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you about some posts you made on Instagram about like some like are you at liberty to discuss some of that on the air, or is it still in the stages where you'd rather keep it kind of secret? Because I am intrigued.
The post I put up yesterday.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is that kind of had a coming soon vibe that I was just like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Friday.
Right
Friday
on.
actually. I'm just releasing a single. And it's actually an old Treading North song.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and I've done that twice now, where a couple old Treading North songs I'm just releasing under Freaque because
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not really doing anything. Everybody's gone,
yeah.
and I talked to everybody about it, and they were like, "Yeah, just release it under Freaque. It'll get more ears on it then." And
I appreciate like the people's willingness to like just let the music live,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because
I really appreciated it too because I was like, if I don't even really want to start like a distro kid for Treading North because we don't have anything on Spotify or anything like
yeah,
that. So I don't want to like pay extra money just to put these 4 songs on
right,
streaming services.
yeah,
And then, also like just the platform that Freak has is quite a bit more active. So it's like it just makes sense. Uh,
yeah.
and everybody was pretty down for it, and so it was cool to be like, yeah, this was for the music. This wasn't for
Yeah.
anything else really.
Was it re-recorded, or is this something like you just had like in the back catalog that you didn't get to release?
Yeah, it was in the bank.
Oh, nice.
We recorded it in I think we finished recording it in 2017,
Mhm.
I think. And yeah, it was just kind of sitting there for a long time.
2017. It's just
Yeah,
like the
it's
it's
5 years.
just
5.
the world was we were so young. The
Oh
world
my
was so
God, we had no idea. We had no idea.
I
So
I
naive.
yeah, I just thought it was funny like when people were complaining about what was that year 2016 where like we had so many celebrity deaths, and that was like the worst. That was like the or is that 2015 that everyone's just like, whoa, this was the weirdest. It's like
It might be, yeah. Wasn't that
no, I think it was 2016 because that was an election year, and that was
the
also in
year?
the mix.
That was the year that Prince died too, right?
Right. Yeah, it was like Bowie, Prince,
Yeah,
and well, it's funny. Like everyone has their own artist du jour of like, oh yeah, like when this artist died, the world went to shit. But
yeah,
if you look at the timeline. I have a new theory on this. Lemmy died on like what, Christmas Eve of 2015. I think if you're gonna play the game, I think that dude opened the door to hell, and it's just it's been a vortex
domino effect after
sucking
that.
everybody in, because like Bowie died like 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
So it's just like it just, to me, that kind of felt like, oh yeah, you know, where are your heroes now? But,
keep an eye on them because they could drop any moment.
yeah, and then you can. I mean, it's grief is a funny thing, because you know, like I definitely want to like have the sense of humor of like the, you know, punk rock kill your idols thing, but it's just like when you happen to have a lot of dead friends, that attitude kind of gets old after a while, you know. Right. You know, like I like to be salty about the industry just because I've been kicked around by it, like we all have. Yeah. But you know, it's just like lately in the past couple years, I don't have the same patience for that attitude as much, just because it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to speak for other people, but it's just like, usually that's the kind of stuff that comes out of like the folk who haven't lost much yet. And so it's just like, yeah, it's not like really like a get off my lawn thing of just like, I appreciate the energy, I appreciate the spirit. Right. I myself am trying to actually heal, and I've caught myself in the past 2 years being so quick to anger, and a lot of it is a righteous anger, like Jesus flipping the tables. Like Jesus got pissed. A lot of people, a lot of peaceful people would get pissed, and that's okay. Yeah. But a lot of it is just like straight up, you know, like you thought you managed these other traumas, and then these new traumas are like basically metaphors of your old stuff. So now it's just like, you know, it's just like, how much of this is me just in denial of like, but yeah, it was like one of those things where it's just like, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, like, I guess I haven't had many friends over because like a lot of them are dead, which is like kind of weird. You know, it's just like, but that's also, it's also like part of like me showing my age, I guess, but like not really, you know, because it's like one of those things. Like I started young, you know,
playing
like,
music.
No, losing friends.
Yeah.
Well, both, I guess. You know, I think that.
I guess they go.
They kind of go hand in a weird thing. You know, like I started playing music on stages as a teenager, and then, you know, through that, like we would me and my friends would try to sneak into the city and like get booked without our parents knowing, you know, like that kind of thing, because we thought we would get caught, we thought we were going to get in trouble, and then later they found out, and they were just like, you know, you can invite us to stuff, like it's you don't have to do that. So like it does kind of come hand in hand, you know, like when you're a wide-eyed teenager, you're going to meet some interesting characters that might appear in a Tom Waits song.
Totally.
But like, yeah, just kind of my headphone, whatever. But I'll rock this without the padding. But yeah, it was just kind of like taking stock of that, and like thinking you made peace with that, but in reality, it's just like, it's all this new stuff that is like this cyclical thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's like a weird, it's a weird dynamic of just like, yeah, there's things that can be improved. Yeah, there's just like, but it's, at this point, I'm like so cynical to the powers that be that I'm just like, no, they want us to be bitter, man. I think it's part of the exhaustion. I think it's part of like that. Like, it's just like, it keeps people down a little bit. And it's just like, and like, yeah. And it's like, it's almost like that Idols album, like Joy as an Act of Resistance, like just be joyful at spite. Yeah. I think there's some beauty in that. Stand by. We're going to be on the thing.
Sweet.
So Tom waits off of Mule Variations, and now that I pressed a new button, okay, wait, I did hear some audio. It's like it's always a new journey here. So it is at the top of the hour here on KFAI. If you're just tuning in, this is Desert Islands. This is the show where I make mixtapes based on my guests, 10 records they bring to a desert island, and today I'm making one for Freaque. Welcome back, Gabriel. Seriously, I always enjoy talking to you, and I appreciate that you're doing this again on a Wednesday morning. Particularly when you have to play a show with me later tonight. So thank you for the morning and the late night commitment here.
Of course, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to chat, and we always get into it. So
I know. I think that's my favorite thing of just like the not the fear of getting into it. I'm just like, let's get into it. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. It's been 6 months since we've seen each other, and a couple years before that, but we're ready to get into it, right?
Yeah, always appreciate it. So I earlier on the off mic chat, I realized you're releasing a single, and I'm not going to be playing that one, but you do have a single coming out. Is it this month? This Friday?
Yeah, this Friday I'll be releasing a song called Racketry. And it's an old Treading North song, which is the first band I was in, and it has just been sitting in the bank. We never did anything with it, and I talked to the old crew, and they were like, "Yeah, just release it under Freaque. Let's get some ears on it. We put a lot of work into it, so yeah, just leave it up to the Freaque platform and see what happens."
Yeah. Let the Freaque flag fly, so to speak. Well, I'm excited for that. I chose Patience, so we're gonna hear that in a bit here. So we're gonna have a set of local music coming up, but this set of music is gonna have some Moon Hooch and some Snarky Puppy. So sit tight. Enjoy. If you are playing at home and you're watching us off mic, please don't do that while you're driving. This video is going to be like put on our YouTube channel. You can watch it later. But if you are hanging out with us, welcome. Sit back, and we're going to be talking on YouTube and our Facebook right now. And this track is called "Light It Up" by Moon Hooch here on KFAI. This band is awesome. I was psyched when you put that on. Where did my? Oh, whoa! It went like way under the table. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I saw these guys at the Turf Club a few years ago.
Yeah. It's like I've never seen them live. I know they've come to town once or twice.
Yeah, they've been here.
And I've always wanted to see him, but I've only seen like the my friend she lives in New York. She sent him to me. I'm just kind of like, oh, check this out, and I think I think I eventually sent her one of their videos of like, you ever heard of this? And she's like, yeah, I sent you that like a year ago. I sent you that band like a year ago, and it's like, so yeah, they're ridiculously cool.
Mm-hmm. It's like saxophone dubstep.
Yes. Yeah. I always appreciate like using junkyard implements to like make EDM. just like this weird band that can survive the apocalypse feeling, and just kind of like, it's just like, I just appreciate the aesthetic of like, oh yeah, the grid goes down, but a bunch of people were like, no, do you remember this? It's like, it kind of had this groove, and it's like, oh, if you do that thing, like, I bet like, all right, if I use a ukulele, it'll kind of sound like beep, boop, beep. I always appreciate that. So I kind of forget what we were getting into before that, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure we'll get into other stuff.
But we were talking. I was actually gonna keep going. This idea of like joy as an act of resistance.
Oh yes,
yeah. I just back in January, February, I wrote some lyrical content for my buddy Ivan Cunningham. He did a gig with the Zeitgeist people. I don't know if
Oh
it's
yeah,
Studio C in St. Paul. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and that was kind of the idea behind his project, was like um, this sentiment of like um, kind of feeling like we're not really able to just like feel anymore.
yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
everything is so like structured, and you know you're like, one of the things that makes me think of is like watching the Marvel movies. Like I can't do it really anymore. I just like I can't. But
I
like
know how you
for
feel.
people
Yeah,
for people who are into it, like
yeah,
I'm like, you know what? Yeah. If you're
that's your
like,
thing.
if
Hell
you
yeah,
get
go for it.
feeling out of this, if you get joy,
Yeah.
like, cool. I'm gonna like critique that shit all day long and be like, this is some Illuminati bullshit.
I definitely feel you on that because like there's like well also like my ADHD in the pandemic went to new levels of weaponization to the point where like any movie like I feel just like yeah cool like, like I it's tough so I gotta be like pretty discerning in what I watch because like I like it's hard to like just commit to that and all those movies now like they used to be like thrill rides but they also had like you know metaphors of like Greek mythology in there and you know like but that's also in the comics too you know and
Right.
I dug that when I was a kid and that's cool like and some of the movies I have watched and really enjoyed but it's like when it became like this whole the cinematic universe I guess like that's I mean that's all well and good I do think it like it, it 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 it's cool if you're into it but
Right.
like I immediately started getting into like the inner Bill Hicks and George Carlin, like the little homunculi like of them in my head is just like
Yeah.
this is a racket. Anytime they got to get a movie, they got to sell a bunch of toys, and that's why they're doing it. You know, it's like
Mhm.
it's just this thing to like waste 3 hours of your time, and that's cool. But like, yeah, I'm just like I can't. Have I had a good time watching the movies? Sure, but like they're not what I first reached for, you know? So
Right.
it's like at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum because I was kind of thinking about this like when I was like when Rebecca Black reemerged as like
Mm.
she's like embracing like the past and it's just like no, I'm gonna like pivot. And I was thinking, I was like, ah, good for her. And then I was like really thinking about it. I was like, that was like the first video on YouTube to like 1 million dislikes or something. And how like what was like 800,000 of them were like angry white dudes. If not 900,000 of them and it's just like, okay, cool. You realize this isn't for you at all.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
who it's for, but it's definitely not for you. So why do you care? Like what
Right.
like
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like, I mean, this system that we live in just fucking drains you of
yes.
every like every ounce of energy, and I mean joy and just like pleasure, and it's so hard to come by. So
Yeah.
like, why take the energy to just be like, no, this is bad, so you shouldn't watch it, and
Yeah.
now you suck because you
Yeah.
watched it. And it's just
And
like,
it's
no, like that's not the
don't
point of that's not
don't
how you
shame your neighbors. Yeah.
right. That's not
Yeah.
how you like strip the system down, by just
No.
like attacking the people who are, you know, the cogs in the wheel. Like
Right. Right.
it just
And
doesn't.
honestly, that's what the Marvel movies are for. Like the system is draining, and who are we to like deprive someone who's just like, dude, I hate my job. but I'm really psyched about this Thor movie, and I just want
Right.
a big bucket of popcorn, and I want to forget, and that's great. That's awesome. You know, like that's so like why are we attacking that person for like
Right.
something? You know, like and my beef is I agree. My beef is not lying there.
Right. The beef is with the whole like the system that's churning that shit out. And
Yeah, yeah.
like, and the thing that's throwing me lately is like that it's seen as good film. Like
Mm.
the new Spider-Man movie was, there were little talks about it being up for Oscars, and I was like,
Wait, really? Oh,
we're here
I'm
now, like we're going there. And I was just
oh
like,
man. I guess yeah, I guess I like here's the thing about the film thing, and I guess I don't like try to weigh in on film too much just because like I don't see many movies. Um the ones I do, I try to, you know, like I kind of treat it like books at this point. Like when I was younger, I had this weird thing where it's just like I started the book, I got to finish the book, and then you're just sitting here like this piece of shit. This thing is so trite, but you finish the book, you know, and then like because I felt like there was a more like it's harder to write a book than it is to make a movie. And then I started like making short films, and that is complete nonsense. Like it is hard to write a book. It's hard to make a movie. So
yeah,
it's just like it got to that point where like it's just like life is too short for like, you know, it's like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. So now I'm like kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna finish this. I'm not gonna finish this movie, you know, like
right.
but most of the time like I find myself drawn to like documentaries because it's just like I just get sucked into because real life is way stranger than fiction at this point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you this timeline is way more like convoluted than a Marvel movie. This timeline has plot holes like a Marvel movie. If we made this movie, it would suck. Like people would not like this movie.
yeah,
It's not even a good dystopian science fiction. It's like we have villains that wouldn't even make it in a Bond movie. You know, like you could not put Elon Musk in a Bond movie today because people would be like, "Really? Come on!" Like that's you already did Doctor No. Like, aren't we like this? Like, no
right.
one there wouldn't be a person that ridiculous, and yet, like like Bezos too. Like all those
Mhm.
cats. Like they're like almost like it's wild like how you can like point like you can get like a like the mental diagnoses like thing like especially with the last president too. It's just like you can like visibly see they're like okay, these people are like mentally ill, and not
Right.
in a way where I feel bad. Like it's more like why are we here? We're sitting here going like, oh yeah, well at least we are in a new era. Farewell to kings. I'm like, but like we have a mad king, and then we
Yeah,
have like all these like barons. We have barons again.
yeah,
It's the same thing.
right.
It's like time is a flat circle. We just have new labels for this stuff. But people are
Hmm.
like, no, it's a more civilized age. It's just like I think that's just a story you're telling yourself. Like because it's all stories we tell ourselves. It's
Right.
all stories.
Yeah.
And but this story is not even good. It's like it's not. It's like it's very yeah, I don't know. I was about to say it's very Marvel, but I don't even know. I haven't like I didn't watch that Spider-Man movie. I watched here's what I watched. I watched a video essay about the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I did not
That's how you do it.
and then they were that's what I've been on. Like I watch like these people like they do like dissertations on
Yep.
how we got here and they're actually really interesting. And like there was
Yeah.
like this one that basically said, "Oh, I wish I knew the creator so I could credit them because now I'm gonna feel like a total like you know." But like okay, so I'm not. This is not. I'm not gonna cop their like I want to, but like they basically said uh, that movie was a money making scheme because one of the studios a long time ago bought Spider-Man and then Marvel was just like, because at the time, money wasn't being made for superhero films. And then Iron Man got made, and all the money started getting made. So a while ago, they like just let Sony have Spider-Man because they're like, it's like we're not gonna miss him. And then like Sony is just like, I want a cinematic universe. Like, you guys got one, I want one, and like so like it was like them coming together to basically like make a lot of money, but off of like making everything canon. So now all the toys can be sold simultaneously.
Yeah, I mean that's what that movie was. It was just like straight up nostalgia. Like,
yeah,
we're just gonna go back and do this again.
Yeah, and I didn't see it. I just like I've heard it's like is it like one of those like clip show episodes from like those sitcoms in the 90s where it's just like, wow, remember when we fought, and then they're like, ah, it's like a little like I haven't seen it. Like, do they use actual footage from the movies?
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's just like it's just, you know, when the other two Spider-Men show up and Doc Ock is there and the Green Goblin, you know, Willem Dafoe's in it. And
okay.
It's just like it just felt like a bombardment of just like, here, take this, it's Doc Ock. Oh my God, cool, great. Here's Willem Dafoe. Oh yes, you're doing it. Here's Tobey Maguire. Oh my God. And it's just like everything else was like, I just like the story. I was like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. It seems
there's nothing fresh for me. Like,
right.
I get like this is the first time that it's ever been done. You know, you bring back these characters from this old, you know, the same universe or different universe, whatever. And like that, I think that's been some people's argument, is that like, well, it is actually like pushing the boundaries of film. But at the same time, it's like, is it like, what are?
I guess it depends like what boundaries you think are pushed, because like if you're a fan of the comics,
right,
they've been doing that stuff for years.
Yeah,
you know, like so now it's just the logical conclusion that a film company would do it.
Right. It's not a new idea. It's just maybe, you know, with the new film universe, it's a thing that they can do now.
I think the argument is, yeah, but no one's made a shitload of money off of it before. Like, can you at least applaud us for finding a new way to make a shitload of money? That's kind of how, you know. And maybe it's good. Like I said, I'm not gonna yuck.
It was fine. Like I think overall, like I always usually have a good time when I go to Marvel movies.
Yeah,
like,
the same.
Yeah, that was fun. But it's not like, I mean, they're getting 80 and 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like,
it's like
no, like this is not that good. Like, this is just a fun time to sit down and eat your popcorn and zone out, you know,
which is great. I think like there's
but like
a place for that. Yeah,
let's call it what it is and not start being like, this is the future.
Didn't like Martin Scorsese? Like I actually went back and read the interview that this started with, and it was so benign. It was like the most benign comment ever. And he's just like, what do you think about the Marvel? He's just like, I think they're incredibly shot, and the tech they use to make these things is amazing, and they really are pushing new ways to make film. But like, I don't know if it's cinema.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like something else at this point. And you know, and I came from a different generation. Like, we had to make movies differently. So like, I kind of still want to make movies in a way where like there are these limitations, and like that's like basically all he said. And then like the articles were like, oh, Martin Scorsese from the top rope, and like he says Marvel movies aren't cinema, and it's just like, and then everyone was just like, okay, boomer, okay, Marty, like Mr. 3 Hour Irishman, and then they were like ripping on like his like CGI in The Irishman, where it's just like it's like I haven't seen The Irishman either, but they're just like it's like De Niro still looks like ancient, like you don't like it's just like it's like I don't think he was trying to say that. Like this is something my partner and I talk about a lot, of the concept of two things can be true. And I think that like breaks a lot of people's brains, where it's like what is this zero sum thinking that has arisen in this country, where like it was always there, but now everything is like that, where it's just like the pineapple on pizza thing is a great example, where like that used to be like it's kind of fun, you know, like how some people think cilantro tastes like soap. Some people are probably weirded out by this. Let's post it on social media. And then it became like they're selling merch where it's like Team Pineapple. I'm just like, what is the point of this? Why? I hate this. I hate it here. Like this is exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you gotta vote for. It's just like, are we gonna trivialize like everything? Like it's I'm starting to, it's like I feel like I get tinfoil Hattie and I just see like Noam Chomsky's like manufacturing consent in like everything like Oreos. It's like it's ridiculous. And it's like so I think that's another reason why I don't watch a lot of that stuff, because like one, that's usually the time where I'm just like, all right, I'm not working. Get a little high and watch a Marvel movie, you know, and then like my brain starts thinking. Like it's funny that you said like Illuminati shit, where I was just like, oh yeah, like me and my friends used to do that. Like we would watch content and be like, but we would be joking. Like every triangle in the background, be like, bruh, you know, like that kind of thing. But like now, there are things where it's just like, that's an Aleister Crowley book. You know it. Don't act like it isn't. Okay, so I'm going to read a calendar. I'm just going to read a script. So there's going to be a timer. I'm just going to turn to the screen, and then we're going to be back on the air real quick. So stand by. Snarky puppy. That is a live version of Lingus off of We Like It Here. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and then Moonhooch at the top of that set. Okay, so I am talking with Freaque right now. We have a show tonight at Palmer's. Druzy Rose is going to be there. Unfortunately, the Nunnery had to drop out. I know a lot of y'all were excited. The Nunnery was excited, but it is moving day. It is the first, and they have kids, and that's really hard. So you know, they got shows coming up, so go see the Nunnery. They got a new album, but unfortunately we will have to do another thing. We will do another thing. But Druzy Rose is great, and Freaque is great, and it's going to be a great show. But let's talk about the shows happening this week and beyond. Thursday, tomorrow, the Ophelias are going to be playing the Treasury. Allergen and Gully Boys, local bands, are going to be supporting them. That is at 7 p.m. This is an all-ages venue in St. Paul. Friday, Alaska CD release show featuring Dad Bod and Bathtub Sig at Amsterdam Bar and Hall. Also Friday, Mr. Zip, Rhino Shrine, and Koku Ka at Sociable Cider. That starts at 6 p.m. Rock for Mules, Rad Owl, Deep Dark Lake at Palmer's on Friday. Prairie Clamor, this is a release show with Carlisle Evans Peck and Bad Pastor Club at the Eagles Club. This is all Friday. Friday is a busy night. So Saturday, let's get into Stranger Gallery release show featuring Rope, Ra, and DJs from Gothis are going to be supporting that at Mortimer's. That's on Saturday. Ramble On variety show. So this is curated so I believe it's curated by Xochi de la Luna, or Xochi's band's Plan. Anything Xochi's involved with is like really fun and interesting. Seriously, if you haven't been to one of their variety shows, they're always well done, and they're always something new. I really appreciate that. Most people who do the variety show, they kind of like fall into a rut, and every time I've been to one of their things, it's always like a new thing, and I appreciate that. But on this one, Ice Climber, Comrade Trip is going to be doing some stand-up in between these sets. Butter Boys, Lucy Zarnes, Aaron Wolds, and Lassie, Tori Nicole, Laffer, Lucas Ramsey. So there's a mixture of different interdisciplinary artists, performers, musicians, comedians, and it's at Can Wonderland this Saturday. Also this Saturday, Concert for Ukraine, Dean McGraw, Mother Banjo, Makam Baklava. Like I said, if you want to hear me mispronounce your band name on the air, just email it to desertislandskfai@gmail.com, and I will do that. But this is Saturday at Celtic Junction. If it rains, they will go inside Celtic Junction, but this is an outdoor event. So Sunday, Philly band Empath is coming to town, and Close Talker and Liquid Lunch and Pig in the City are going to support that at the Eagles Club. Looking ahead, tonight is this is the 200th episode of this show, so we are going to take over Palmer's all month. So each week I'm going to do something different. This is just the 200th episode kickoff show. But there's going to be a tape release in there. Yeah, remember when I put out a piano album? Supply chain issues. I finally got the tapes. So we're going to do that. But, my birthday's this month. We're going to have a finale. We're going to have some KFAI appreciation stuff, and each lineup is going to be good. So every Wednesday at Palmer's. Otherwise, my next show is I'm going to be opening for Bob Log at the Turf Club. That's going to be really fun. If you haven't seen Bob Log, don't do it for me. Do it for Bob. You're gonna love Bob. Bob is great. It's really hard to describe. Just look it up on YouTube, and then you'll get it. But think I missed something, or you just want to hear me mispronounce your name? Like I said, email it to desertislandskfai, all one word, @gmail.com. I will check my social media, but sometimes I'll get it late and I'll see your event, and then I swear I'm not ignoring you. It's just I just got off the air and I missed it, and it just kind of seems weird to, like, I can't go back on the air. And so if you wanted me to definitely see it, I definitely check that email before the show. So desertislandskfai@gmail.com. Okay, so you're releasing a single. You're playing tonight with me at Palmer's, Druzy Bros. I'm super excited for this just because Palmer's is just one of those places in town that just has a vibe. And I know that word is like cliche at this point, but it's just like I kind of chase that a little bit. Like I think like places like it just needs to be something there.
Well, it's a hallway. Like it's a hallway bar. Like, so it's almost every time I go there, I feel like I'm like it's almost like I'm in a subway station or something.
Yes, it feels like a train terminal.
You're like you're interacting with people in passing, and it's like just
everyone's
like Minneapolis is in and out of there all the time.
Yeah,
they pour really strong drinks, and music is always weird. And it's a vibe. It really is a vibe.
And it's the fact that it's survived prohibition, and it's one of those places where, like, if people haven't been to Minneapolis, most tour guides take them. I take people to Palmer's. Like, I take them to other places too, but like we always end up at Palmer's. Like it's just kind of like my secret. Like we're like, oh yeah, did you have a good day? Hey, let's grab a drink. And we're like, yeah, where do you want to go? I know a spot. And it's always like that. And hard times though. I think hard times for the daytime, Palmer's for the nighttime. Although I've done this feedback loop so many times in college where it's like the daytime Palmer's, and then you're on the West Bank so much that it's kind of swinging around back to daytime, so you go back to hard times. Which is also I've heard is open. So yes, tonight Freaque is going to be playing with me. I got some special guests coming all month. I don't know if you know Haley Fleming. She used to play with me in Fairfax, Alaska. She's going to be joining me the whole month. We usually try to do like, it's like, the big guns, I need to bring out Haley, but this is it's like not every show. It's like, is Haley playing? It's like Haley's gonna be playing all month. And sweet. If you haven't hung out with her, she's a great time. She's a great time. But I feel like a lot of people at Palmer's are like, if anyone's listening, they're like, oh, cool, Haley. You already know. You already know. It's like you said, like all of Minneapolis goes through Palmer's. So yes, that is tonight. But what do you have coming up? Because I know you got the single. Are you going to be doing any performances in conjunction with the single, or do you have other things? Because I know you're also working on stuff. Are you focusing more on that at this point? Is there performances on the horizon?
Yeah, I think the single I'm releasing on Friday is just that. And I'll just release that single and just let people listen. And then next week I'll be playing the Moth Grand Slam at the Pages Theater. I'll be playing a couple songs there. And then I'll be down in New Ulm on the 24th. And then I'll be in Rochester on July 18th. Nice. And then I'm doing a EP release show on July 22nd. And that is one of two projects that I'll be releasing over the next probably 6 to 8 months. Last year I worked on 2 EPs. And tonight I'll be playing all the music off of that EP that I'll be releasing in July. And then outside of that, I'm actually in a horror improv production called Slender Veil. And that'll be in the Fringe Festival early August.
Nice.
So it's kind of a spooky, scary improv show.
Awesome. I'm glad. I haven't thought about Fringe in years, because I feel like the whole, well, I mean, I always, at this point, I'm tired of talking about the pandemic, and I know everyone is, but it's just like I feel like I missed out on Fringe last couple years. So I'm happy it's back. Let's talk about the EP release show. Do you have a venue for that on July 22nd?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing it at the Ivy Building in Seward. They have a little courtyard space. So it'll be kind of DIY. Going to bring our own sound system, sound tech. And that will be the 2 opening groups are Shona Kiki and then Jackie Pine. And yeah, that's the plan right now. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited for it. I love that idea of especially an outdoor courtyard. I just feel like I feel like that fits for you too. Like I just
it's kind of a cool little like junkyard fairyland type thing.
So, nice. Yeah. Or I want to play Patience, just because I feel like it felt apt for me personally. But if you're coming tonight, you will be able to hear some of the new material at Palmer's, and hear some Freaque here on KFAI. There we go. All right, I gotta type the metadata. This is always like the most awkward timing of just like I never type it in advance and then I forget to. And then I have to like actually put it in. Damn it. Now I can't remember what we were talking about before the calendar. The Moth Story Slam, that sounds awesome. Like it's just like are you going to be eligible for the story part of it, or is it like that's just like you're the I was just like
it's like all of the best storytellers from all of the Moth programs over the last year.
That's awesome. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, so I'll just be playing 2 songs, and then I'm also the like get off the stage person. So at like
you get a look like the Apollo.
No, and I'm supposed to like play some notes at 5 minutes and then play some play some kind of unnerving notes at 6 minutes.
Oh,
Be like,
oh yeah, it's like
really
you're
time.
wrap
You
it
gotta
up,
go.
wrap it up. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be really fun. Of
I'm gonna
just
have.
like
I feel like I'm gonna be in a really powerful position. Like,
yeah, like I really like being able to set the tone of just like I could be dulcet or jovial.
yeah.
Or let's see if this thing has a pipe organ setting and really lean into it. That's okay. So that what was the date again on that one?
That's June 8th.
Okay. Dang. Well, I meant that is a Wednesday for me, but that's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I think like the moth is like a really cool thing that I feel like I don't know. It's like there was almost like a Marvel comic universe inspired by like that podcast. Like for a while, like there was just like a million of those podcasts where it's just like, and everyone was like using that format.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just cool that it like keeps enduring as like this, you know, it's just like, and it's like, but like this, it's another one of those things. Just like, it's always good content, but it's just like, once you get backlogged, I'm like, where do I jump back in? You know, like it's like, how do I get like same thing with like I was like really into Welcome to Night Vale for a while, and then now I'm just like, oh, I don't know, like what. There's so many episodes now. like, like, how do we even get back? Like, because you can't really, you can, but you can't really. I don't know. Like you totally can jump around, but it's like it's almost better if you're kind of like there from the beginning.
Doesn't feel safe.
But I don't know. It's who knows. Content. That's another thing. The fact that like everything is content. Like I had like the weirdest interaction once where someone said like, "Oh, I think I've seen you before." I was like, "Oh, really?" And like, "Yeah. Oh, wait, I follow you. Like, you make good content." And I was just like, it was like I like was definitely like very grateful because I was like, "Thank you." Like, but I was like, that was like the first time I got it in the wild, like not like behind a keyboard, because usually that's like you don't get that word thrown around like AFK very often. It's usually like in emails by like people who are like sizing you up as like
it's
a,
like a business.
need to streamline. Yeah, there's like a business thing, but like it was like the first time I heard someone like say it not as a sneaky business guy trick, but like as someone who's just like, oh, like I like your content.
Right.
Like it's like I was just like, whoa. That's so like that went from, it's kind of like that thing like when you like ironically start calling people bro. Now you're just calling people bro all the time.
Oh,
like
dude.
it's almost like
I've been thinking about that lately. I'm like, yeah, I was using it ironically for a little while, but now I'm like, yeah, what's up, bro?
It's sincere. It's sincere now.
It's in my brain.
Like, yeah, and it's in the lexicon. And I'm wondering if like maybe that's what happened. Like people like millennials and Gen Z were like so cynical that like it was just like, oh yeah, it's just content. It's content. And now it's just like, wait, now I'm calling it content. I can't stop calling it content. Like that's like that's when I knew I was like, oh, I'm getting older. Cause like I like to think I'm a pretty like, you know, like I'd always trying to work on neuroplasticity and like trying to grow. But like that was like that weird moment where I was like, now listen here, you little shit. People worked hard on that content.
It is inevitable. Like I've talked about that recently with people, and it's like specifically with technology. I was like, you know, we were the technology kids. We grew up on the internet. We know how to use computers. And then now I'm like, I don't know anymore, man. I'm like,
now
I don't know how to code.
I feel like it went from like we're the technology kids to we're actually the technology kids. Like we're the product.
We're the children.
Yeah, like we are. It's just like we are this year's model, so to speak. Like
Right. Yeah.
of just like the new. It's because like it's so like even the scam artists are kind of like changing the way, like they're not targeting your bank account, they're targeting your Instagram so they can harvest your data and not steal from you directly, make money off of your image, and then potentially like it's just like that's wild. Like that's like
Yeah.
it's weird how like they tried to make it more benign, but it's almost like more sinister in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Well,
Like
that's I mean, I think that's like one of the more fucked up parts of the
yeah,
system that we're in right now is that we are commodities. Like
yeah, we are.
we are like the product
Yeah,
and the labor. Like we're both at the
yeah.
same
And
time.
the user and the
And the
consumer.
user, yeah, exactly. Like
It's like it's the dumbest Ouroboros I've ever seen in my, like it's just like a
right.
snake eating its own dick forever.
It's so weird, and yeah, I mean it's starting to feel, you know, elements of I mean exploitation for sure, but like
Yeah,
I mean, we're just slaves to the media, you know.
yeah. It reminds me of that. Like I think we were talking about this on like the first time when like I was trying to, because I summoned Chomsky earlier, but like when my brother was like studying linguistics, and I was like, oh, I've heard of Chomsky's political stuff, and then I tried to read like one of his linguistics textbooks, and it felt like I was reading the manual to a nuclear reactor. I was just
Right.
like, is this math? I don't know. I am not smart enough to read this. Like, you don't want me reading this. You don't like. I feel like I'm gonna break something if I keep reading this. And then no one's gonna be able to read it because like I can't operate the machinery. But like he kind of led me down like rhetorical device rabbit holes of and like there's this cat Vico who talks about like every age there's like there's ages to societies. There's like an age of metaphor, an age of metonymy, synecdoche, and irony. And I always switch metonymy and synecdoche
Okay.
because so there's probably going to be someone like way smarter than me commenting. I'm just like, well, actually, that's not. I mean, it's like I know I like literally like literally I'm just a guitar player, people. Like I'm doing my best, but like he was kind of saying like it's these things are very fine poetic devices, but you get to start seeing how like there's like ages of these poetic devices. Like the age of metaphor is like kind of like the age of like gods. Like that's like the first age, and that's where we get like mythology. These things way bigger than us. We can't comprehend. So we look to the gods, and maybe we even invent them. And and it's just like and this is where like metonymy and synecdoche kind of like I mix it up, where it's like the age of metonymy, where it's just like, oh, it's we moved on from that. Like the metaphor is more personal, like it's like a profession. The soldier, the doctor, the king, the politician, the worker. It's like it's something you do because it needs doing, and that's like that's like the age of heroes. Where it's just like, oh yeah, we've moved on from gods. Like we're actually more attuned with ourselves and trying to do that. And then synecdoche is like we've moved on from thinking that these professions are actually magical. It's just like where it's just like you're reducing it to like a quality of it, where it's just like, like a lawyer or a Wall Street banker, it's like, the suit over there. It's like someone who's like a regular at a bar is like, coming in, and it's just like, oh yeah, the ham sandwich over there wants more lemonade, top off their coffee.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I feel like we kind of grew up, or at least I was kind of born in the tail age tail end age of that. Like that was like kind of Gen X, where it's just like the suits, and the hippies, and the like it's you're not like putting. And now the age of irony, I think we're living through that now, where it's just like everything is embraced ironically. Nothing means like, because like we've given up on meanings. And it's funny, like the age of God starts things over. What's the most popular thing right now? Marvel movies. I'm gonna let this ride because it's more local music. But it's like, I've been thinking about this a lot, because I'm just like, oh yeah, like if Trump wasn't the signifier of an age of irony, where like nothing, like even the people running the show don't believe a single word that's coming out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Like how is that not the clear indicator of like, okay, yeah, this is the age of irony.
Right. Yeah.
And now I think we're coming back to the age of metaphor. I think we're going to see cults on the rise again. I think we're going to see a lot of people reaching out of themselves a little bit, and kind of getting sucked into that. Mm-hmm. But I also know a lot of people who are getting spiritual again. People who like swore it off, like people who were like, nah, man, it's just like, nah, it's like it. And so like I really do think we're, say what you will about like some of these dead white guys. Some of them made some good points, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right, and like I think that's what astrology is lately. Like,
yes, very good point.
It's moving back into that world, but like, it's not Christianity. It's not. You're not dealing with gods. You're more dealing actually with nature and like the universe.
I'm dealing something bigger than God. Thank you. Like, like.
And like
whatever religion is not my parents, that's what's going to set me free.
Yeah.
Okay. But I agree.
I have some friends who are like really into it, and
I do too.
Like, yeah. Like, I don't know. Every time I like read, I'm now following Chani Nicholas, and every time I read the horoscope, I'm like,
that's pretty dead on. It's like,
how?
Like, say what you will. It's like it's pretty like I don't know. I think growing up Catholic, and here's the thing about that. Like when I say that, I think like a lot of people try to like immediately go like, oh, here they go. They're going cynical. The problem with that narrative you're throwing on me is like, you forget that I was like devout late in life. Like I kept faith to like 18, 19. And when I started losing it, it hurt. It wasn't like a rebellious thing. It was painful. It was like a real, because like at first you go through these stages of grief of just like, I'm a bad Catholic because I can't summon the muster to believe.
Right.
This is on me. This is a failure on me.
This is my fault.
It's my fault. Yes. It's like, and it's, so yeah, but I think because of that, there's always going to be this like healthy skepticism of everything I kind of dip my toe in the water, where it's just like, oh, this has really served me well, but you know what else used to serve me well? Okay. All right. So astrology is kind of like, I will admit, I dabble. I definitely do, but it's just like, whoa, this is really accurate. But then you're just like, I mean,
I think the thing for me is like, it can be accurate sometimes, but at the same time, it's like, we don't know what the hell Pluto's doing. We can't. We can't know that. We can't know how the sun really affects us. Like, and I think that's part of. I think it's definitely like pretty cultish. I think you're kind of right. Like, it has kind of a weird culty vibe, but at the same time, it has
cults coming out everywhere too.
What'd you say?
There are cults coming out everywhere too, not just.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I think it like to your point of like we're reaching the metaphor stage again, the God stage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that it. I don't know. It's not the same as like. It doesn't feel the same to me as like Christianity and
No.
the
And
deeper religion.
yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because I definitely think there was always like this thing where like I think when people think of that, they're like, oh, that means good old fashioned religion is coming back. And I don't think that's what it necessarily means, as much as like people might invent new gods. They might invent, new metaphors to replace the stuff that caused trauma in order to heal. And I think like, I think that's kind of what I'm seeing anyway. What's crazy though is like, it's almost like all the ages are kind of like being mixed together though. Like everything's being accelerated, because now we're starting to see the thing with professions again. Like politics is the new religion, and now people are like, oh, if you're a teacher, you're a this. Oh, if you're a this, you're a this. And now there's like, and it's just like, and now like it's like we get to like teachers, it's like, oh, they're groomers. Like that's like the new synecdoche of just like, yeah, and it's just like, and then it just like streamlines back to the age of, or maybe that's part of the age of irony, where it's just like, it's just like stripping all this away, of just like everything is just a cycle of like nonsense.
Right.
If you're just tuning in, it is the top of the hour, and you get to see my glorious headphone hair if you are following the chat off the mic. But it's 5 minutes to democracy now, and I'm speaking with Gabriel Roderick of Freaque, and we are definitely getting into it. I'm afraid to check the comments. We are getting thumbs up and hearts though, but it wouldn't surprise me if I see like a frowny emoji in there somewhere, or the anger emoji, which is too cute to be intimidating, by the way. The anger guy is so adorable. I don't know why. Like every time I see it, it's just like it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Not that, but I'm also not a person who's like trying to make people angry. I don't actually like get joy out of like getting a rise out of people. I just think it's funny when you see someone like post something that's like clearly clearly bait for something, and you just see like a sea of like like go by this. Like I do think that is kind of funny. But yeah, hopefully we haven't angered you, because we're just talking. We're just as we do. This is why I wanted to invite you back for episode 200, just because it's just like, yeah, I know I'm gonna have fun for this one. But I know I'm also gonna have fun tonight. Freaque is playing with me at Palmer's. Freaque's got a new single coming out this week, and playing Moth Story Slam, the big one, June 8th. Did I get that right?
June 8th, yep.
And then release show July 22nd. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. I wanted to have time for some Dusty Forever, but Prairie Clamor is releasing a new record, so I think we're going to close with that. If you want to listen to the tracks I didn't have time to play, I'm going to be posting the Spotify playlist of all the stuff we're playing below. You can check that out. But thank you so much for coming back on the show. But if folks like what they heard, where can they hear it again? Where would you prefer people go visit to get your newest stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm up on all the streaming platforms. The single I'm releasing is this Friday. It's called Racketry. Spotify, Apple Music, all the good stuff. If you wanna drop a little in the Bandcamp, that'd be great. I also have a Patreon that I post a lot of behind the scenes content. Yeah.
Perfect. Tonight at Palmer's. Next week we're going to be talking with the Orange Goodness, who is also playing at Palmer's. And it's not just shameless self-promotion. We got Deb Collins and Human coming up later in the month. Gabriel, thank you so much for coming back. Let's close things off with some new Prairie Clamor. They're releasing this record this Friday. So check that out as well. Stay tuned for Democracy Now! It's like all right, cool. All right, thank you so much for doing this. Now I'm in ADHD mode where I'm like, okay, I gotta press all the buttons at the right time before I go. Okay, so tonight I thought load in was like at 6:30, but now the website says music starts at 8.
I saw that.
So I think 7 is fine. Cool. Or at least I hope it's fine, because scheduling at the school district has kind of gotten crazy. So I'm going to be teaching lessons until like 6:30. So I'm going to be just like rushing to get there. But I will see you tonight. And thank you. Yeah. Good to see you again. And it'd be great to see you in person. But I'm going to sign off here and then and see you later. So enjoy the day.
Yeah, you too. See ya.